famous termite bridge. And everyone knows termites do like to eat on wood. And of course our bridge is made out of wood. It was actually built by Mr. Wood. It's got a lot of woody things about it. I have a theory on getting over this bridge. If you put your hands over your head, it makes your feet a little bit lighter, so it takes some of the weight off the floorboards. And if you want to make some noise, we'll scare all the termites away so the bridge will be here when we come back. So you ready?
Ready.
All right, hang on back. See, you're the last one to come across, so good luck. All right, here we go. We look lined up. Yep. Acres of sand dunes. This is all governed by the state of Michigan up here. The dunes are actually divided into 3 sections. On the far north end is where they run all the SUVs, dune buggies, 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers, motorcycles, anything you think will go through sand, you can run it on the north end. In the middle is our pedestrian area. You can come up here and walk anywhere in the dunes you want to. We cannot drive through that section, neither can the north end. So it's like a big dividing point up here. This end of the dunes, Mac Woods leases 600 acres from the state. We are the only motorized vehicles on this end, so we don't have to worry about other cars. And if you ever do come up here and go hiking, it is a little over 3 miles north to south. It's only 1.5 miles from Silver Lake or to Lake Michigan. But if you ever make that little 1.5 mile hike, remember one thing, it will be uphill both ways, because you got to come back. Wow. The grass that grows up here in the dunes, it's called marram grass. Some of that was started by Boy Scouts in the late 1950s. They wanted to help preserve some of the dunes. Some of that grass has roots that will grow almost 4 to 6 feet deep, so it does stabilize the top of the dune. And of course we do have good old Johnny over here. He is the last of those Boy Scouts. He thought they said plant the grass 6 feet deep. He's still working on that project. But we bring him lunch. You know what he likes for lunch? Sandwiches. Yeah. Used to be a forest at one time all through this end of the dunes. A lot of red and white pines grew up down in this area. In the late 1870s, Charles Mears came up in here and logged most of it off. Sent the wood to Chicago to help rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire, and he left enough of the forest for it to regrow. It did for quite a few years, and then it was struck by lightning, burned everything out of this end. So what you're looking at are some of the remains. We call this dune wood. Sits up here in the weather, so basically it's sandblasted, makes it very smooth, but it does take on some very unique figures from sitting up here. This piece over here, you see the hollowed out part in the middle? Don't it look like the map of Michigan? You see the mitten in there? This great big tall one over here in front of us, if you look at it, go all the way to the top, don't it remind you of the Statue of Liberty? Yeah. This is what we do when we're not driving. We study stumps. No, I'm just kidding. Lake Michigan out here. When you look at a map of Michigan on the western coast, right in the middle of the mitten, there's two little bumps that stick out. We are the southern of those two bumps. Ludington is the northern one. We're both approximately 7 miles out into Lake Michigan according to the rest of the coastline. We are called Little Point Salvo here. Ludington is Big Point Salvo. And about a mile up the beach from us that way is the Little Point Salvo Lighthouse. It is the tallest workable lighthouse on Lake Michigan. And that lighthouse is usually open every day. You can climb to the top of it. So it's kind of a neat thing to do. They also call this the Narrows of Lake Michigan. So if you ever wanted to swim across the Great Lake, this would be a pretty good place to do this one. If you swim straight across from here, you're going to end up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. It's just under 60 miles straight across. It starts slightly, yeah. But the thing is, you get up in the morning, you walk the dunes for a mile and a half, and you go climb that great big lighthouse and go for a swim. You'll be ready. Yeah, it's a great day. The average depth of Lake Michigan in this area is just about 400 feet deep. If you go off the coast of Manistee, it does get over 900 feet deep. So it does get pretty deep for a lake. Up, see guys. No, I'm just kidding. But another interesting thing about the dunes up here is if we get a good storm with a lot of lightning will strike on the dunes, and when it does, it fuses the sand, forms a silica-like tube. It's very fossil-looking on the outside. It's glass on the inside. It's called fulgurite. People do come up here and look for it. They might find little chunks of it. Pete Wood found a big piece. When he finished digging that one out, it was just about 9.5 feet deep into the dune where the lightning had struck. So he has found the largest piece ever up here. Sits down in the gift shop. It's inside of a big glass showcase. So if you get a chance to look at it, it's very fascinating. It's amazing what lightning will do. So does anybody have any questions on the dunes or anything up here? Nope. Okay, here we go. Put your hands up back. Oh, they all forgot. You can put them down. Yeah. This is the only outlet out of Silver Lake, and it does flow towards Lake Michigan. It's actually controlled with a dam that's down that way. But if you're interested in going down to Little Point Salvo Lighthouse, come back down here, stay on the paved road. You're only a mile. You'll drive right into their parking lot. The lighthouse sits right there. You're right back on Lake Michigan. So it's worth going down there. It's very nice.